morning, good afternoon, and good night. My name is Mark Fikes Jr. This is Become the Podcast. How do you become anything? You dream, you declare, you commit, and success is your next breath. So I wanted to tell you all a story. I experienced something early this week, and I want to share it with you. I shared it on a vlog and a live post on Facebook, and I typically take my vlogs and I post them on I post some of it or excerpts of it. Is it inserts or excerpts? Well, I post portions of it on Instagram and Twitter, and then I post the whole thing on YouTube and on Vimeo. And then obviously it's on Facebook. And I wasn't very pleased with it. I did it when my wife was kind of in the room, and she still kind of makes me nervous when I post in front of her, because I'm trying to be so perfect and so just so clean in my presentation that sometimes I don't just do what I normally do, right? And then Simon was in the room. He started getting kind of crazy. So at the end of the day, I was able to get my point across, but it wasn't as effective as I would like for it to have been. So I want to use that content and bring it to the pod so that I could tell this story and just take another crack at it, or take another swing at it. So I'm in the blue room, which is my kids' Lego room and Calico Critter rooms, and where all the action figures and plastic is, right? And Simon's in here as well. So if you hear some stuff in the background, it's probably Simon. But let me get to this. Let me get to one other thing before I get to the story. My podcast is my therapy in a lot of ways, and as an only child, I learned at an early age how to use talking to myself as an effective therapy for me to deal with life's challenges and life's complicated issues. And I use those conversations with myself to navigate the inner workings of me, right? And understand, what am I feeling? How is the world impacting me, and how am I impacting the world? And I've always been able to come away with, in most cases, I've been able to come away with some reason, having this meaningful dialogue, and I've come away with some sort of reason that helps me to understand what I've experienced, how I've impacted people, how I've been impacted, coming up with some sort of understanding of what I'm really feeling. Sometimes we go through things and or we experience things, right? Whether it's people or just experiences, and we're mad, but we don't really know why we're mad. So we then start looking at symbols that are affiliated with what we're really upset with, right? So I'm in a situation now where at my work there is a couple of black women who don't like me for whatever reason. All right, they heard something about me. They heard me say something. They heard secondhand. They heard from somebody else. They heard me say something, and so for whatever reason, they've tuned me out. They don't talk to me. They don't. They go out of their way to kind of let me know how they feel about me, so to speak, and without saying anything. And this other person was trying to help them work through that. And they said to them, "Are you sure you really have a problem with Marv? Or are you dealing with something and Marv is a symbol of it?" So again, she says, are you really upset with Marv? Do you really dislike Marv? Or are you dealing with something yourself and Marvin happens to be a symbol of the issue? And that's one of those situations where this young lady has to figure out, do I really dislike this person? Or did I make this person become a symbol of something that I'm struggling with? And so now this person is now my punching bag. And so now She hasn't talked to me, so maybe I am the problem. But my point is, there's sometimes when we look for a punching bag. We look for something in life that we can convert into a symbol, and then we treat that symbol some kind of way. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be healthy, it could be unhealthy, but we treat that thing some kind of way because we really don't know why we're really upset. We just know we need an outlet. And so through this internal inventory, through these conversations with self, you can well, let me talk about myself. Through these conversations with myself, I have learned how to figure out what it is I'm really feeling so that I show up as authentic as possible. Now, how I might be feeling can still be petty. It can still be immature, but at least I recognize it. And once I recognize that what I'm feeling is immature, once I realize what I'm feeling may be petty, I give myself an opportunity to say, I'm sorry to whoever I'm dealing with. I give myself an opportunity to kind of right my wrongs. I give myself an opportunity to say, okay, at least I know what I'm working with. At least I know what I'm going through. At least I know what's really annoying me. Now I have to find a way to show up better. Now I have to be intentional about how I want to show up. And so these posts, whether it's through Instagram, Twitter, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's a video I do, a vlog, whatever, all this stuff is therapy for me. And I'm not saying everybody needs to do a podcast, to experience what I experienced through my content, my distribution of content, but I think there is something to the conversation with self. I've always said, well, I'm not always said, but as of the last few years, I've said that the voice of God is the mind of man. Meaning, if we were created in His image, and goes back to if you believe in God, but if we were created in His image, then we have some of His genetic code. We have some God-like genetic code. And if God is the answer and He made us, then we got some of the answers ourselves. So the voice of God is the mind of man. So your mind, your instinct, your gut, your inner person, I think those are all versions of God. Or they have some God-like ability in that we can find the answers within ourselves. So when we're going through things, we don't always have to go to the counselor. We don't always have to go to the psychiatrist. We don't always have to go to our friends. Some of this stuff we can figure out on our own. Sometimes one extra voice is too many. Sometimes one extra voice is too many. So sometimes when you think you want to have help and additional people, put additional people in the room and listen to their perspectives, and sometimes that's too much. Sometimes we need to sit with what we really feel, because even when you're talking to your friend, I have very few. I don't know if my friends are giving me all of the details. And when I work with my friends and we talk and they ask my opinion on things, I hope that they're giving me all the details, but I don't know for sure that they're giving me all of the details. They might be withholding some of the details. They may be holding some of their emotions, because some of them may sound silly. Some of them may be immature. Some of them may be just flat out just stupid. But it's real to them, but it's stupid, so they withhold that. So even in my best attempt to give them the best advice, I can't, because then they give me all of the detail. Then they give me all of their narrative. So even for a psychiatrist who's trained, they can kind of address the hidden problems or address the hidden issues. Or if you have a best friend, they can kind of address the hidden, details that are impacting the behavior and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, you're not going to tell someone else as much stuff as you would tell yourself. You're not going to reveal to someone else all the details the same way you know them to be. So with that being said, that's why it's necessary that you have a healthy relationship of being able to talk to certain people and being able to kind of, put content or information out in the air to certain people and have them, kind of give it back to you. And, it's healthy. But but on the other side of that, it's important that we do it just to ourselves. The car ride, talk to ourselves. The car ride when you're by yourself, talk to yourself. When you taking that jog, talk to yourself. When you working out, you know what I'm saying? Talk to yourself. When you taking a walk somewhere by yourself, and talk to yourself. If you are just alone, just kind of rap with yourself every now and then. Just even if it's just a whisper. Sometimes when I'm in the car, I talk out loud, but sometimes I'll just whisper to myself. I just need to hear those concepts hit the airwaves, and when they hit the airwaves, I can see what sounds was valid, and I can see what sounds silly. I can deal with. I can just better understand where I'm coming from and talk myself through it. And once I talk myself through it, I get a chance to deal with my insecurities, my frailties. I get a chance to decide what it is I want to do, what it is I want, how I want to show up, so on and so forth. And then I put myself in position to show up in a way that is honest, authentic, that is strong, right? That is vulnerable. I learn more about myself. And that helps me to again show up with more authenticity in different situations. I don't find myself in situations where I'm behaving, I'm being fake. If everybody else is joining the rally, I don't join the rally because everybody looks like me. I join the rally because I want to. I don't join the rally because everybody over here looks like me, so I need to join the rally. Like that, I don't take that route. Like if I'm joining something, it's going to be because I believe in the movement. If I'm joining something, it's because I feel like this is what I need to be a part of. And so in that way, I keep myself, I stay out of the way when I need to stay out of the way, and I involve myself when I need to involve myself. But I know that it's because of what I want, not because of what I'm being influenced to do. Because when we get influenced to do something that we don't want to do, things go left. Simon, leave that alone, please. No, you can have that. Not that, though. But that's when things go left. So I'm encouraging you, man. I'm actually going to just turn this into one pod. This is going to be a real quick pod, a little 15-minute pod. And then I give you the story after I finish this one. Because I started on a little tangent. I started with a concept, and then it became something else. But start spending more time with yourself. Start talking to yourself. Find a way. Find some time in your day to talk to yourself. Have a by myself meeting. Have a by yourself meeting, and think through some of the moments in your day that might be messing with you. You might have a close the door, Simon. You might have some situations that you're going through throughout the course of a day. Maybe you have a heated argument. Maybe you're anticipating a heated argument. Maybe you had an embarrassing moment, and for some reason you were embarrassed. Okay, why were you embarrassed? And when you figure once you had that conversation with yourself, you may realize, wait a minute, I'm not really embarrassed. Actually, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of how I showed up. At least I was honest. Yeah, I might have been out of pocket, but at least I was honest. Or you may have a situation where something happened and you didn't step up. You didn't speak up for yourself. Now you go back and you may beat yourself up for not stepping up. But I guarantee you, after that conversation you have with yourself, you might be more empowered to stand up for yourself and be a little bit more honest. Maybe next time you will show out. But it all goes back to having that conversation with yourself and figuring out what are you willing to stand up for and what are you willing to lay down for. So with that being said, I'm going to end this podcast and then I'm going to give you another one. But I'll end it the way I always do. Greatness lives on the edge of death. I am not afraid to die. I will fight for my dreams. I will celebrate my dreams, and I will die for my dreams. Thoughts are things, and everything starts off as a thought first and springs from a place of mindfulness and clarity. My name is Marv Fox Jr. Part 2 is on the way. I got a story to tell, and stay tuned.